What is going on, guys? Back with another video. RWA is one of my most favorite and bullish narratives for this cycle. I think you need to have exposure to RWA projects. And a question I get a lot of the time is, what projects within this narrative am I bullish on? And today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be ranking, in my opinion, 15 of some of the most promising projects you could call within RWA. One thing about this narrative is it's very undersaturated in comparison to a lot of the other narratives. And anyways, let's get into this. As I've said, we've got 15 different projects in this list, and I'm going to rank them from my most favorite to my least favorite. We're going to take different factors into consideration, such as development of the project, token utility, partnerships, exchange listings, and also, most importantly, price potential as well, which I will briefly discuss. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I will be bringing more videos on a lot of these projects. So anyway, guys, let's get into it. So the first coin on the list, of course, is Ondo, a high cap within the RWA narrative. Now, Ondo, as we all know, it is the main player along with Mantra within RWA, and the things they're doing, the ties, the partnerships they have with the likes of BlackRock, MasterCard, the likes of big players, Franklin Templeton, Coinbase, so in terms of the chain, Ondo's chain, and the launch of the global markets, which is going to completely change how financial markets are brought to the world, is a complete game changer. I think Ondo as a project is going to really perform, and I think, of course, it's not going to give you insane returns. But in my opinion, this is an easy, at least 10x. It gives you that stability that this is not going to rug. So for that reason, this has to only go in the S tier as a very fundamentally strong project. So Ondo is going into the S tier. You might not be able to see the background, so let me see if I can quickly change the color of the top tier. It's not changing 2 minutes. Let me get this back. So anyway, guys, the color's not changing. But anyway, Ondo is the first coin on the list. It is an S tier, as I've said, very fundamentally strong. Of course, has had a bit of a rally. It is now, 2.8 billion. But if you compare this to something like Mantra, which is obviously another strong project, it's around half the price of Mantra in terms of market cap. And I think it has a lot more potential than the likes of Mantra. For that reason, it's going into S tier. You can be looking, in my opinion, at least a 10x, potentially even a 20x, depending on how successful the launch of the global markets is and the Ondo chain. So yeah, as I've said, S tier. Next on the list is Mantra. Now, this is the biggest player within RWA. It has held up very well in comparison to pretty much every single project. If you have a look at the chart, it has just gone up and up. It's pretty much a perfect looking chart. Now it is 6 billion in market cap. So in terms of the returns from here, you are not going to be expecting a massive returns. I would say something like a 5, maybe a 10x at a push. But this is a layer one and looking to bring all of different financial entities, businesses, companies on chain onto the blockchain, and also integrate requirements such as AML, KYC. So this does have huge potential as well. It's just that I do prefer Ondo because I believe it's got more chance for it to really pump. But important things that they're doing, they're releasing and launching this MEF, essentially like an investment initiative fund of $108 million. Now this is going to be huge, potentially to grow the growth of Mantra as an ecosystem. And you can see some of the big players on here. You've got the likes of big investment partners backing this. So for me, Mantra, another very solid project. Of course, it is a high cap. You see here, they know how to market, they know how to really get the name out of this project. And the main drawback, or the only real drawback with this, is the fact that you are going to be buying into something which has just, it doesn't seem to be giving any dips. It is on a 4% dip, guys. So it's insane how well this is held up. So for me, taking that into consideration, as an investment from this point on, I think it's a safe investment, but it's not going to give you the same returns as other projects on this list. But it is a very strong project, and if you want something safe, it is a very good choice in my opinion. Next on the list we have Plume. This is a new project, and I'm a big fan of this project. It reminds me of something similar to Ondo, and they've done a lot of work. They've grown this chain. It is a layer one as well. And they've managed to grow this in terms of partnerships, in terms of different dApps developing using Plume. And the main thing, which is insane, you can see the growth of how many people are utilizing this chain. As I've said, 18 million addresses, 300 million transactions, 4 billion in assets available, and 180 different protocols in place. Other interesting things, they're partnering with real world companies. big moves in the likes of South America with Brazil to essentially tokenize $40 million worth of real world assets within Brazil. And they're doing a lot of other work in the background, huge community. And as I've said, they've got huge backers behind them. So even Binance Labs is back in this. So as I've said, this is likely to get a Binance listing in the future. They're also looking to, get this community aspect with this meme sort of, touch to it as well. But for me, another fundamentally strong project. And, the good thing about Plume is it's not, in the billions of dollars of market cap. This is, $300 million in market cap. In terms of dilution from here, if you look towards the end of 2025, currently we have 2 billion out of the 10 billion in circulation. There will be just under 4 billion tokens by the end of 2025. So you're looking at, 2x, double the amount of tokens to be released. And, obviously if you DC into this, that is the best way. For me, where does Plume go? Is it going to give you, crazy returns? For me, this can give you, I think, potentially 20x, even more. Again, depends on how bullish and, exactly when we get these, rate cuts and, really an end to this tariff and trade war. But for me, Plume is another very solid project. I'm going to put this in the A tier because I think it's just a very good option. Next coin on the list is Clearpool. Now, this is a bit of an older project, and I don't really normally like older projects, but to give credit to Clearpool, they have continued to push the growth and development of this project out there. And you can see, of course, in terms of the past sort of few months, it has had a little bit of a dip, just like everything on this list. But essentially what this is, it's a decentralized capital market, credit marketplace where you can give loans. And again, they have a big thing coming in relation to Ocean, which is, you can see here, it's going to be the first RWA exchange traded pool. And what this is going to do, it's going to offer different sort of utilities to different customers. You can basically pool liquid RWAs with liquid yield bearing assets like US Treasury bills. And again, this is just another, step in the right direction for this project. The other thing I like about Clearpool is they have a lot of partners. They partner pretty much every single day with new projects within Web 2, within Web 3. So overall, it is a good project. It's a solid project overall. For me, I just think that as an investment, there is better plays for returns. In terms of the market cap, you can see it's just under 100 million, so it is pretty small in market cap. You've got majority of the supply out. Listings are pretty good as well. So overall, good solid project. It's just that sort of credit aspect, credit narrative isn't the most exciting narrative, but for me, I'm going to put Clearpool in the B tier. I think again, it's not too bad, but there are better projects to invest into, in my opinion. Next on the list, we have Proppy. Now, this is a funny one, right? Because this is such an old project. This is from 2017, so it's been around forever, pretty much. And the thing with this is the reason I still think it has good growth potential is how they've basically integrated AI into this to help, in terms of exchanging contracts or property deeds, basically using different AI agents to help with buying and selling different properties. And the main thing with this as well is you can see here, Proppy is a licensed Web3 pioneer operating since 2017, facilitating over $4 billion in transactions. So this shows you that they've actually got working product in place and people are still using this to this day. You can see here as well, even the likes of, big investors. You've got Grant Cardone here lists using Proppy. So, they've got a huge list of different properties across the US, I believe, where you can basically buy and sell your property. This basically handles all the deeds and the contracts behind it. Um, Decent engagement as well. And, overall, I think it's another solid project for RWA. Of course, you probably want to invest in newer projects, but for me, this is another good option. And the main thing as well is it's very low in market cap, under $30 million in market cap, around 60% in circulation. For me, I would put this in the B tier as well. Next on the list, we have Parcel. This is a Solana-based RWA project, which is also backed and by Coinbase. It's also on Coinbase as well. So for such a small cap project, to have Coinbase on board is a very bullish point. With Parcel, what you can do is you can basically speculate on different real estate markets, and basically it has price feeds across the world for different cities where you can speculate on the prices of real estate. You can also provide liquidity. And for me, I think a very bullish point is how they're backed by Solana, Coinbase, and they've also got some other big backers behind them. Good engagement as well, a big sort of community behind them as well. You can see here, they just give you updates in relation to different real estate markets across the US, across the world. So yeah, it's overall another decent project. The thing to watch out for with Parcel is this huge unlock in pretty much a few days' time of 161 million tokens, right? So this is a huge unlock, around 60% of the current market cap. So at this stage, I would wait till after this unlock, after the 16th of April, to even get any exposure to this project. So taking that into consideration, do not buy this now. Wait for that unlock. But as a project, it is a fundamentally strong project, and I think when the market reverses, this is a good play to get into. Just make sure, as I've said, after that massive unlock. Next on the list, we have another very strong low cap slash micro cap prop chain. Now, for me, guys, this is one of the best risk to reward RWA projects you can get into. Just look at the website, guys. The website is one of the best websites I've ever seen. And the main reason I'm bullish on this is the fact of the different properties they offer, also the potential use case for contract exchanges, and also prop chain ventures, prop chain cloud. And you can see here with prop chain, it makes investing, closing deals on properties fast, and done in days instead of months. It's lower cost, lower fees. And the main thing with this is you can see here 125 million plus assets under management, $1 billion of assets under due diligence, 1,000 global investors. They've got regulatory compliance, and they get audits done by huge auditing firms, service partners like EY, Citibank, Barclays. And you can see, guys, how quality the properties they offer are. These are luxury properties with an emphasis on the UAE. Huge amounts of adoption, huge amounts of growth, and they continue to update. Team is very credible. For me, prop chain is an easy A tier for me. This is a very strong project, and it's going to go into the A tier because I think at the current market cap of $15 million, this is a project that can give you some insane returns. I'm talking 20, 30x plus, potentially 50x. But again, I'm not telling you to wait for those insane returns. But for me, a very good project and a very good, levels to DCA. Next on the list is Art Trade. This is another low cap slash micro cap, and very interesting. This is basically getting into the luxury goods and luxury art market. You got watches, clothes, artwork. And the good thing about this is you can buy these different pieces using the native ATR token as well. And you can get discounts on this as well through staking. So they've got the staking mechanism in place here, and obviously the more you stake, the more benefit is in place. So yeah, this is a decent project as well, very unique. Something that people can definitely use. You can see here you can buy gold bars, watches, artwork, different art pieces here. So very interesting, and the team are also continuing to develop. Good engagement, good community. So yeah, I think overall it is a bit niche, of course, luxury goods, compared to the likes of real estate. But for me, I think this is another decent pick. I'm going to put this also in the B tier. Next on the list, guys, this might be a bit controversial. I might get a bit of hate for this. Relio Network. Now, this used to be one of my favorite RWA projects, and it is an older project, but that wasn't a concern for me. It's just I seem to have lost a bit of conviction on this project. Obviously, they're growing, as a layer one, and there is a big launch happening in relation to what's it called, Land Rush, which is coming very soon. Of course, this is going to be one of the projects, one of the tokens, which is going to build on Rio, which is big news. It's just there was a big, or like a big period of time where the team just went very quiet and there was no updates for a very long period of time. Um, yeah, so it's a difficult one, guys. I think again, it's a decent project overall. Just in my opinion, I think there is better players to invest into. So for that reason, guys, I'm going to put it in the C tier. Again, I might get hit for this, but it is what it is. This is my own personal opinion. I think even with the tokenomics as well, I just think there's better picks to get into. So yeah, guys, C tier for me. But again, if you disagree with it, don't get offended. Again, it's my own opinion. So yeah. And that's another thing, guys. Sometimes people really take things to heart and, don't take things too personally. I'm just trying to give you my own opinion. So anyway, yeah, C tier, but I'm not saying it can't pump. It is still very small in market cap. But I don't think this is the real market cap level. I think it's a lot higher than this. So anyway, yeah, as I said, C tier. Now next on the list, prop base. Now prop base for me, guys, this is a real gem. At $10 million in market cap, this is a steal of a buy. This is on Aptos and it's also on base. Very healthy trading volume. And for me, what I really like is they've basically updated the website. Looks really clean, really fresh look to this project and website. And what they've done is they have basically updated the whole page for tokenomics. A lot of people were, complaining the tokenomics are a bit unclear. People can't see how much supply is out, or, for example, the unlocks. So this basically breaks down everything. It tells you exactly what you need to know in relation to, the tokenomics. And something that is really bullish with this as well. They've basically extended the token release to 8 years, which is insane. So for me, guys, with the updates they're doing, very high quality properties on board. This is a real gem, and it's got to go in the S tier for me. I think risk to reward on this, guys, you are looking at something that can really give you some crazy returns. 50x on this is around 500 million. And I really think it's going to perform well. For me, this is an S tier project, and of course, none of this is financial advice. Make sure to do your own research. But as I've said, it ticks every single box for me. Next on the list is Bricken, another very fundamentally strong project. Has had a bit of a tough time, under $10 million in market cap now, but I think could be a good opportunity to, DCA into it. The main sort of drawback I would say is exchanges. We do need more exchange listings for Bricken. But essentially what this is, it basically gives solutions to different businesses, companies, real estate firms, whatever you have, you can basically create your own digital asset, tokenize it through their token suite, and you can, decide all the factors behind it. Very credible team behind this as well. You can see a good amount of TVL on this as well, across 14 different countries, good partners, and something which is very interesting with Bricken as well. They have some very sort of prestigious, incredible awards. You've got this something relating to Spain within, I believe, some government within Spain, funded by the European Union, Next Generation EU. They've won awards as well, and ultimately they continue to update and grow the project. Team is also fully doxed. You can see a big team here as well, fully doxed, and they continue to develop and really continue to push the project. You can see here they attend different talks with the likes of Mantra and also the likes of Algorand. So for me, this is a real gem as well. I think at these levels, this is something which could also give you some insane returns. For me, I'm going to put this in the A tier. I think it's again one of the best overall RWA projects that you can invest into. We're trying to speed this up a bit, guys, because I didn't want this to turn into a big tier list because it isn't supposed to be. And next we have Lingo. Now Lingo is a project which came out, everyone was bullish on, for good reasons. I think it does have a good use case in terms of rewarding the community, investing in real estate to basically generate, revenue. It's come down a huge amount, which is, pretty common for new projects. Currently $7 million in market cap. And in terms of what this can do, as I've said, essentially what this is it looks to reward the holders of this project. You can stake, and they basically invest it into different real estate and generate different fees from it, which they basically give back to the community. And this is a huge project, right? You can see, 650,000 followers. They're updating regularly, attending different events. So, I think it still has potential. It's just, obviously in terms of unlocks, we've got sort of daily unlocks. Even though they're small unlocks, I think some people are just a bit scared to invest into it. But I still think overall it's another fundamentally strong project, and I think at these prices, you could get some, very good returns. So for me, I'm going to put this in the B tier as well. A good project overall, and I think it's come down a lot, and could definitely be time to DCA. Next on the list, another very interesting project, Crypto Autos, very small market cap, $5 million in market cap, micro cap. And what I like about this is it's a very unique project in terms of this whole supercar industry. Essentially, you can buy different cars, supercars, Lambos, McLarens, whatever you want, performance, Mercedes, AMGs, and very big use case within Dubai. Another reason I think this has a lot of potential is it has huge KOLs, huge influencers who will push this project, the likes of Alex Becker, who's got millions of followers. And you can imagine when the market shifts back, This can really move fast at $5 million. It could, 10x very fast potentially. And you can see here, they've got very good engagement. People are buying, cars with crypto, which is good to see. And they also have a good looking website in relation to the crypto autos website. Tokens got solid utility. This is what I was looking for, to see if the token has utility, which it does. You can basically buy nodes, you can buy gold membership, loyalty programs, and yeah, it looks like it does have potential. Of course, it is very risky, but as I've said, with these big KOLs on board, this could be a big mover. I'm going to put this in the B tier as well. I think it's not too bad of a project to invest into. Next on the list is another microcap, Landshare. Now, Landshare has been a bit of a disappointment. I'm not going to lie. It is, of course, a microcap. It is very small. And of course, with the dual token system in place, the main criticism is they need to get more properties. I think they've only got currently around 3 properties. Bullish points about this, as I've said, very small market cap, big community who are bullish on this as well. And I think when the RWA rally comes, this is going to be one of the projects which could really rally hard. So for me, I'm going to also put this in the B tier. Very risky project though, so make sure to have good sort of strategies in place. And the final project on the list, which has been a bit of a letdown, is Galileo Protocol Leox, which has come down a lot. It's currently around $2 million in market cap. So risk to reward is definitely there. Reminds me of something similar to our trade in terms of luxury goods. You can see here different pieces of art, clothing, that sort of thing. So again, as I've said, very high risk, but they do, they're continuing to push the project out there. They've got good developments, and yeah, it is risky, but as I've said, I still think it could perform when the market shifts back. So for me, I'm also going to put this in the B tier towards the end. So yeah, guys, that is my own personal opinion on these projects. I think these are some of the best projects in RWA in terms of risk to reward. I think a lot of these can give you some good returns. And let me know your other bullish RWA projects, and let me know if you think things should be different with my list. Again, it's my own opinion, guys, so I'm not saying this is set in stone. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. I will be coming with more videos, and make sure you don't miss out. Anyway, guys, take care, and I'll see you very soon for the next video.